Yo, what's happening, y'all? This is Comic Book Corner, and this is your host, OMD300, aka Doc Savage, the man of bronze, and welcome to Comic Book Corner. Yo, episode 11. Yo, man, check this out. We've been doing this now, 11 episodes, talking about your favorite comic book news, as well as comic book films, TV shows, etc. Yo, I got a great show for you today. Great show for you today. I'll be reviewing Superman. If you haven't seen the new Superman movie, the James Gunn Superman movie, James Gunn famously was the one who brought the Guardians of the Galaxy to Marvel and to the screen. A very obscure group, I might add. The Guardians of the Galaxy is a very obscure group. Probably not one of the groups I probably would have started with in regards to the Marvel franchise. I guess they probably thought that it was such these characters like Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon and so forth were so intriguing for children that they decided to put the movie out. But James Gunn is now the head of DC Films and DC Cinema. And he basically has revamped the whole company, revamped all the storylines in regards to the heroes like Superman and etc. And Superman, this new film about Superman, is his first rendition. I just got through watching it. I'm a very harsh critic. I'm a very harsh critic, and I am not a fan. I am not a fan of this new film. I know what they were going for. Man of Steel, starring Henry Cavill. They're just trying to get away from everything that the last guy who was given the opportunity to run Marvel, DC Studios. I actually think what the last guy was doing was pretty good. I loved his edge. I loved the storylines. They were more mature, a little darker. And I think James Gunn's version or new universe in regards to DC is very, very popcorn and very Kellogg's Corn Flakes versus, something like that. It's hard for me to put this into words, folks. I know you probably want a better description of what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to think of a better way of saying this. But the film is on a scale of 1 to 10. I give the shit like a 6.5. It was entertaining, and sometimes the jokes were really corny. The Jimmy Olsen character I did not like. That's just my take on it. I'm not a huge fan of that particular character. They got the Lois Lane character right as far as looks are concerned. Black hair, long black hair. He went for that. If you remember, Man of Steel went away from totally what Lois Lane would look like with the red hair and all that. Just a whole different take versus Gunn. Somebody's on live can tell me. I forget the last guy's name. He's huge as well. Zack Snyder. Just a huge go away from what Snyder's vision was, which I actually think Zack Snyder's vision was the vision they should have went with. It should have been edgy. It should have been dark. Marvel has always been like that. Marvel Comics films have always had a little bit of an edge, just a little bit. There's always a little darkness involved. And when it comes to the villainy of some of these characters like Lex Luthor in this film was probably the best reason to watch this movie. I like Lex Luthor in this movie. Very narcissistic, very jealous person who's already powerful. And that just shows you how people are today. There's a lot of powerful people in this world who just like to put their boots on somebody's neck. They have everything in the world going for them, but they still want to see people suffer, which is narcissistic and it's evil. And that's where Lex Luthor was in this rendition of Superman. He's the best thing about this new Superman movie. That this gentleman, I forget the young actor's name, but he played Beast in the X-Men films here recently. He's the new Lex Luthor, and when they cast him as Lex Luthor, I was thinking James Gunn might have lost his mind. Not saying the kid can't act. It's just he's such a nice kid in all the roles he's played. Or remember, these are actors, so they're supposed to have range. They're supposed to go real dark and be able to be friendly and sweet and all that in different roles. I didn't think he could pull that off just because of his persona in real life and in other roles. But he was Lex Luthor. He was a young Lex Luthor at that. Uh, Very good at what that. I will give the film for his role a higher score of 7.5, but that's just because of him. So as a whole, I'd still have to say this new Superman is like a 6.5. Um, the new kid that they have that's playing the role of Superman. You've heard me say this on different content that I believe we retread actors too much, and we need to try to have new actors play these roles. People who we don't know. People get excited when they don't know who you are, and they're like, "Who's this new face?" And they want to see instead of just throwing Halle Berry in as Storm just because she's hot at the time. And Halle, if you ever see any of my content, it's not that I don't like you, and it's not that I don't want to see you get your bag, but I don't think you deserve to be in every role just because you've been, a monster's ball and all this stuff. To me, the accolades only say that you should be able to be cast for certain things first before anybody else. But when it comes to something like this, you should cast the people that fit the criteria. And this kid does kind of has a Superman like build and style. Um, I think he's more to Christopher Reeves as than any other Superman that's ever played Superman, from Dean Cain to the guy who was just recently on the Superman TV show, Lois and Clark or whatever it was, as well as there's been a lot of people who played Superman, Henry Cavill being one of them, who I actually think is probably second as the best actor who's ever played that role, Christopher Reeves being number one. And I would probably say this kid that they just had in the new Superman movie would be number three, just because he wasn't terrible. He was a real Boy Scout. The way they wrote him, I mean, he was truly a Boy Scout. I'm gonna just be real with you. He was truly a Boy Scout in this film, which Superman should be. And also, spoiler alert, there's a twist in this movie that there's possibility that Superman in this version was sent to Earth to enslave it, just like Omni-Man in that cartoon show. I forget the name of the show. Unbreakable or Invincible. I'm sorry, Invincible. There's a twist to this version of Superman that his father Jor-El sent him from Krypton to enslave Earth versus become a light for the people of Earth. That's a heck of a twist right there. And I think they're trying to do that twist so they can possibly down the road bring in the black Superman suit, which he was probably sent to Earth with and doesn't even know it exists. That's a kind of cool twist, but that's probably not going to save the movie from the review I'm giving it, because the simple fact of it is it was very corny. The gentleman who played Guy Gardner, I like that actor. He actually played in a show that I thought shouldn't have been canceled years ago called Firefly. He was a captain of a freighter with a ragtag crew, very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy in a sense, but they didn't have superpowers. They were just regular people. But if you don't know what Firefly is, go look that up. But that actor played the captain for the Firefly ship on that show, and he played Guy Gardner. Wasn't impressed with his performance. Um, that's my review. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the direction James Gunn is taking this, taking this vehicle, taking these Marvel, Superman, not DC. I mean, not Marvel, DC. I'm stumbling my words today for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's early in the morning. I don't know why I can't put my fucking brain and get my brain in gear. Oh, by the way, this is a new Corner Store Television T-shirt. I just wanted to make sure people saw that. I would show you the back. The back is very interesting. You gotta, if you want to see what the back look like, you have to go to my community page on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Go to my community page. There's a link to my merch store, or you can go to my Instagram, Corner Store Television, all one word with a K, Corner Store Television, and you can see the link tree or the link to the merchant store, and then you can see the merchandise store, and then you can see what these shirts and all the hoodies and things look like. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. We got some Corner Store television merch coming up. We're just designing it now, and I hope this show becomes a cornerstone in some of you guys' few minutes during the day. Check this out. But the review of Superman is a 6.5 for me. I wasn't very impressed. These films, to me, with the budgets that they have and the storylines in the comics, there's so many thousands of stories they could be using from the comics, but they decide to just adapt something or create something off the top of their heads, which is probably leading people not to be too, enthused by the performances of the actors. I think they need to start referencing the actual comic book issues and using those stories. That's just my opinion. I think if they did that, and they already have the shots in the comics. I've said this before. So, but that's just my opinion. But they'll keep making $500 million budgeted films, and hopefully they feel like hopefully they'll make their money back or whatever. But it is what it is. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is this Fantastic Four coming out. I think either this Friday or next Friday. And obviously, I'm not super enthused about this either. Marvel's taking a weird direction as well. They're changing their whole format and revamping things. And I'm here for some good filmmaking. I'm here for it. I'm here for good stories. And I'm here to shut up people like Quentin Tarantino, who seems to think there's no place for a superhero movie. Tarantino, for some reason, feels like because he creates these off-the-cuff stories like Kill Bill and Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, because they're brainchilds of his, and he's got this story. And hell, I do that all the time. I'm telling you right now, if I knew how to write scripts quickly and understood I'm reading about it now and understood the art of putting those words together and putting words in people's mouths, I can come up with storylines and what a film could be about all day long. It's just, the dialogue leading up into the events in the film that's tough for me. That's what I love to get with a screenwriter who has writer's block. I'll give you 1,000 ideas and we could co-write some stuff together for sure. I'm telling you. But Tarantino seems to think because these films are already of characters that's been written over 1,000 times that it's not art or it's not, it's not film worthy. Well, there's an audience for every fucking thing, Quentin. There's an audience for your off the cuff, off the top of your head screenplays, and there's also room for people who like comic book films. So, I just want to shut him up. And I think he's a genius. I like Quentin Tarantino, but he's quirky. And, a lot of times when people speak against something, it's probably because he was a comic book fan or something back in the day, and maybe somebody slapped his ass. So who knows what people be thinking? Or he's just saying what he's saying because he's a filmmaker and he doesn't like that brand of filmmaking, whatever. Your opinion is your opinion. But there's a lot of other people out there that probably want to see this stuff and probably never want to watch one of your films. There's room for everything is all I'm saying. So, all I want these film companies to do, especially if you're going to do Marvel or DC character based movies is to be good at it and make it entertaining and make us want to see it. That's all I'm saying. I hate the hype. You see all these retarded ass scenes from these films all over TikTok and YouTube, and people, people who've watched it, they're cutting up scenes of it, and you see it, and by the time you see all of this, you're like, oh man, that don't look good. But I had to watch it because I knew I was going to review it. So seeing bits and pieces of it just doesn't make any sense. There's also it's a lot of spoilers I could give you, and all I'm going to say is this is my opinion. Go see the movie for yourself if you want to spend that time and that money. Don't just listen to me or wait till it comes to DVD, whatever. But as far as from what I saw, I'm not a huge fan of James Gunn's take on Superman. There's a lot of people who loved it. Surprisingly, there's a lot of people who loved it. Loved the movie. So go figure. Anyway, I was on the Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four is coming out soon. They revamped it, all new cast. Pedro Pascal's playing Reed Richards. Some of these other actors I've seen before, but I actually don't know their names. And they're all newcomers. These are things I've asked for. Only person that's in this film that a lot of people know is Pedro Pascal. A lot of the other actors are very obscure. They may have seen them before, but they probably don't know who they are. I get that. So I'll give them credit for that. Pedro Pascal, on the other hand, he's a little bit overused, from The Mandalorian to Last of Us. And this man's in every freaking thing. Well, that's one thing about Hollywood. When certain people get hot, they try to find somewhere to put them because they think they're hot as Georgia asphalt. So it's like, okay, we got him. People will come see it if they know he's in it. No. They got to realize these actors are secondary to the characters that they're playing. They are. Like the guy who they chose to play Submariner. I like the fact that they chose him because nobody knew who the hell he was. And they went, and also Ryan Coogler, who uses a lot of new actors and actresses for his projects. I love that about Ryan Coogler. When Ryan Coogler did the last Black Panther, and he chose to go with away from the Atlantean Submariner and went with a Mayan or Aztecian Submariner, that was a hell of a way to transition Submariner into the Marvel universe. I dug that. And Black Panther 3 is not my favorite Black Panther. Obviously, the introduction of Black Panther in Civil War was the best version of Black Panther they've given us so far. All of Black Panther's movies were very overhyped, very overrated. Though good films, they're in the mid 7.5s to 8s. There's no 10s in none of the Black Panther movies. I'm sorry, it's just not. This is opinion-based. This is opinion-based media. Oh, yeah, I had to do the Superman. Oh, check it out. You know I had to do it, especially since I'm talking about Superman. So anyway, as I was saying, James Gunn, Pedro Pascal, I'm sorry, has been overused in a lot of different aspects. And him being Reed Richards is one of those situations. And I think Reed Richards is a character that is very complex as far as the character itself. And I'm not saying that they should have used a complex actor. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there's a certain look for Reed Richards. There's a certain body type for Reed Richards. And Pedro Pascal just doesn't seem like that. He just doesn't. He could have been anybody else other than Reed Richards, and they chose to cast him as that part. It is what it is on that note. Though I haven't seen the movie yet, there's been a lot of, just like anything else, there's been a lot of scenes that we've seen. They decided to go with the female version of Silver Surfer, which is the actual Norrin Rad is the character's name. It was a male character who became Galactus' herald, which was Silver Surfer. This version of Silver Surfer is the wife of Norrin Rad, the actual Silver Surfer, which is, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Not saying that I wouldn't mind her being a woman. It's just that's not how it's went before. So they decided to go that way. Go figure. Having not seen the movie yet, a lot of people say, well, how can you judge if you haven't seen it? And I haven't. But I'm already going in with this thought process of the characters not being people I consider the characters. So when you go to a film and you already got preconceived notions about it, and it turns out to be better than you thought, then you're happy. You're like, oh, okay. But I shouldn't have apprehensions before I even go see the movie. I shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta give myself a round of applause for actually feeling that way. Because everybody's individual. We all feel differently about this stuff. We all feel differently about it. Some people don't even like superhero films. So I think if you're going to try to get people on board with these movies that don't know anything about these characters, you need to make these films right, especially with the large. Some of these budgets for these movies could revamp the economy of a small country around the world somewhere, some third or fourth world country could be revamped. But they ain't thinking about it like that. They thinking about all the people they can get into their pockets around the world and get these francs, lira, yen, dollars into their pockets. That's all. That's how everything's all about. That we already know that's what the fuck it's all about. So, but just like I said, Superman 6.5. Haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but it's coming out either this week, this Friday, or next Friday. I'm not sure about the date. Go see them for yourself. Make up your own mind. And we're going to get into some of this superhero news or comic book news, I should say. Don't mind what you're about to hear. Hopefully, you don't hear this. Actually, you didn't hear it, which is great. Let me see where we were. Okay. There is some news in regards to some upcoming. Now, this is some news that I think everybody should hear. So check this out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So reports are saying that the lineup for Sam Wilson's Avengers has leaked, and I got it here for you. So if you hear your family, and if you family, go ahead and sit down at our lovely dinner table and let's discuss. Now we know Avengers Doomsday is on the way. Avengers Secret Wars is going to follow right behind it, right? And we got teased at the end of the Thunderbolts in the post-credit scene that Sam Wilson has already assembled his Avengers, and his Avengers is not taking too kindly to the new Avengers, if you feel what I'm saying. So Sam trademarked it. Sam's going to have his Avengers that is going to take center stage in the conflict against Doctor Doom, against possibly the X-Men, against possibly the Fantastic Four. Here's that lineup for you.
Oh, wow.
So reports are saying it's going to feature Sam, it's going to feature Thor, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Shang-Chi, Hulk, She-Hulk, Sentry, Yelena, Bucky, and of course the brand new Falcon.
Oh,
now,
shit.
let's talk about some of these names. Of course, Thor's the OG. We knew Thor was coming back. Bruce Banner, another OG, he's coming back. Obviously, Captain Marvel has something to do with this. She's still trying to get Monica out of the universe that she was trapped in. So, of course, she's going to play a pivotal part. Sure.
Let me stop him right there. And this is reported by I don't know how to say this dude's name. I'm just spell it LRGO Largo Hard or some shit like that. Largo Hard. But shout out to Largo Hard for what he's saying. He just mentioned that Captain Marvel is trying to get Monica Rambeau back from some place that she was banished to. That happened in the Scarlet Witch series on Marvel on Disney Plus, and Monica Rambeau. There's three. There's like a Miss Marvel. There's Captain Marvel, and then there's Marvel Girl. Marvel Girl was the little Indian girl that was in the movie The Marvels, and Miss Marvel is Monica Rambeau, who developed her powers in the Scarlet Witch series, dealing with a force field or a mind controlled force field created by the Scarlet Witch. Some kind of way she phased into it and kind of absorbed that power. And now she has, invulnerability, flight, the whole nine. But she got knocked into some kind of parallel universe or something to that effect in that show. And Captain Marvel is going to try to get her back. I just wanted to, elaborate on what he was saying.
She is the Black Panther. She has to step into this, right? Doctor Doom's coming for everybody. Ant-Man can't have a Avengers movie without my boy Ant-Man.
Mhm.
I'm glad Shang-Chi's gonna get his shine. And of course, we can't have a Captain America without a Falcon, right? But the three question marks here, Sentry, Yelena, Bucky. When we left them off in the Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers, they formed their own group of the Avengers. So now my question is, what's going to happen during this movie that's going to force these three to join Sam's Avengers unit? Now, we know him and Bucky are best friends, so that's already going to be there. Bucky looked torn at the end of the Thunderbolts in the post-credit scene when he saw that Sam was not really fond of them being an Avenger unit as well, and that he wanted to he had his own unit and they weren't a part of it, right? So we got Bucky, Yelena, Sentry. Those are going to be the three question marks. It makes me think maybe Red Guardian doesn't make it out, right? Maybe Ghost doesn't make it out. Those are the other members of the New Avengers. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. You guys let me know down in the comments how you feeling about that. Are you on board?
Yeah. So the New Avengers were announced in the Thunderbolts. And the Thunderbolts are not the New Avengers. They were just said to be the New Avengers in the Thunderbolts film. The actual New Avengers is the government or the new shield that has been created. Just like he said, created the new Avengers, which will include Shang-Chi, Black Panther's sister Shuri as the Black Panther. And from what I understand, they're also going to introduce a new Black Panther as well, which could be Dasmus Idris, the guy from the Rick Ross drug show. Everybody knows the show I'm talking about. I can't think of the fucking name right now. But yeah, and there's a couple other people they're looking at as well. So yeah, that's some of the news on that. Let me see if I can find this other stuff here. Hold on.
Okay, so I'm in the middle of Tel Aviv.
No. That's not it. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it here. Well, I have that. The next stuff I'm gonna probably let you listen to is some of these some of these superhero stories about some of these characters. There's a bunch of stuff I had saved and I don't see it anymore. So we'll go with that. This story right here is going to be a Marvel Comics issues about Wolverine and the last days of certain heroes that tried to kill him. There were some heroes that tried to kill him, from Colossus to Deadpool and Sabretooth, and they were tasked to do it by a specific individual. So check this out.
Wolverine wakes up with a bomb in his chest. He tries to dig it out, but then a voice says, "Bye bye America," and the bomb detonates. He regenerates from the blast, but the world he wakes up to is broken. An EMP, triggered by Magneto's death, has crippled the continent. S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone. With help from the mutant inventor Forge and Magneto's own helmet for protection, Wolverine gets his new mission: hunt down the 5 people who put the bomb in his chest and left him for dead.
Whoa.
His first target is Mastermind. Immune to his illusions thanks to the helmet, Wolverine makes quick work of him, returning with his head to extract the locations of the others. Next up, Sabretooth. But Logan comes prepared. Using tech from Forge, he neutralizes Sabretooth's healing factor. Even as his oldest rival boasts that he doesn't need powers to win, Wolverine cuts him piece by piece. In the cold of Russia, he finds Omega Red, and in a grim display of poetic justice, uses the villain's own carbonadium tentacles to strangle the life out of him.
Wow.
His next target is the one that hurts the most: Deadpool. He finds Wade conflicted, sitting atop a nuclear reactor, ready to end his own life. Wolverine stops him, and for a moment, Wade is elated. He asks if they can be a team, if there's forgiveness for what he's done. Wolverine looks at him with ice in his eyes and says, I don't, before pushing Wade into the reactor himself.
Damn.
Only one name is left, Colossus, the friend who betrayed him. Wolverine digs a large, single grave. He tells his former teammate that since someone will mourn him, he'll mark the spot. The fight is short and brutal. Colossus rips off Wolverine's arm, but it's not enough. Wolverine plunges his remaining claws straight through Colossus's head, pushing his body into the waiting grave. He casually reattaches his own arm, his revenge finally complete in a world that had nothing left for him but the hunt. Wolverine wakes up with a...
Now, you can't tell me that little story that I just played right there wouldn't be an epic-ass movie. It'd be rated R. But you can't tell me that wouldn't be a great-ass movie. This is the reason why I say what I say in regards to James Gunn, Jack Snyder, the other guy who's the head of Marvel Cinematic Universe now. They're the problem. You put me in charge of any one of those I'll tell you what you do. You put me in charge. What's up? What's up, Miss T. Mark? You put me in charge of Image Comics, Film Universe, any of these other there's a kid out who just came out with his own comic book company. God damn it. I always grow a blank when I think of this dude. Not a huge fan of old boy because he seems kind of arrogant, but I think you got to have a certain amount of arrogance to make it in this world. Humility is for assholes, and being humble sometimes causes you not to get where you need to be. Sometimes you got to just take the bull by the horns and cut the motherfucker's nuts off. Anyway, I'm good. Thank you. But I forget the kid's name, but there's a lot of different other comic book companies, Image Comics, Dark Horse Comics. If I could be in charge of any one of those film companies, I would bring all kind of these films to life that would be so enjoyable. Some of them will be very harsh to look at, but you got to realize we're dealing with people with superpowers and shit. James Gunn got famous because he made a movie called Brightburn. If you haven't seen Brightburn, you need to see it. It's the evil Superman movie. It's a version that's not about Superman. It's about another character who came to Earth just like Superman. A couple found this kid in a ship, and they decided to say he was adopted or whatever, and raised this kid just to find out that this kid had mental issues and superpowers. And once they found out what he could do, they got terrified of him. He eventually ended up killing his parents. And at the end of the film, if you haven't seen the film, spoiler alert, he crashes a fucking plane. He crashes a plane, and the people think he's the only survivor. And they got him. He's the one that crashed the plane, and they got him sitting on the fire truck eating an ice cream cone. This kid is evil as they come. And that's how James Gunn got famous. And that's probably one of the reasons why he was given the task of doing films like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go back to the Superman film that I saw, the one that's been out recently. We got a trash truck coming by my studio right now. You're gonna hear this noise, so just know what that is in the background. It's a bunch of crashing, banging, boonging, blocking, bop. Sound like a fucking superhero fight when this truck come by. Anyway, that story that I just played, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they ever brought something like that to life, you'd be freaking the hell out. You know what I'm saying? I know I would. That's all. I'm just be real with you. So just to switch up and give you something different other than Marvel, I'm gonna go with a Superman, not a Superman, but a DC story. And here it goes.
He looks like Superman, but he's not the man you remember. The Eradicator was originally a Kryptonian AI created to preserve Krypton's legacy. But when it bonded with Superman's DNA, it became something terrifying. After Superman's death, the Eradicator emerged as one of the 4 replacements, but this version wasn't here to inspire hope. He was ruthless, emotionless, and ready to kill in the name of Kryptonian law. He didn't believe in second chances, only order and control. Wearing the iconic S and shooting energy from his eyes and hands, he looked like Kal-El but lacked his humanity. He looks like
Now, you can't tell me instead of the shit that they, or the way that the storyline they went with in this new movie. And if you haven't seen the new James Gunn Superman movie, wait till you see it. I've already given my review earlier in this live. That story I just played right there about the Eradicator, which is a superhero, which is a guardian of Superman that lives in the Fortress of Solitude and only awakened upon Superman's death in the Doomsday comics. And it turns out because Superman died, it turned evil or something to that effect, But that story right there is enough to hold any any DC fan in their seat at a theater. I can guarantee you all of the people would have been given that rendition if they had used this storyline, would be giving this film a 10. So, I gotta honestly say, and I'm very proud of Corner Store Television and what we've been doing. We're doing some great stuff, man. We're at 26,000 subscribers. I want to say this while I'm on this particular content, Comic Book Corner. I'm not monetized yet, but I'm on my way. It's kind of funny how some other people are monetized that have less subscribers than me. I don't understand how that works. YouTube is a funny animal. It's weird. I don't know why I'm growing so fast and not being celebrated for it. So with that said, it's kind of weird. I've been trying to contact YouTube about it, but it's just something different. When I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do, I have a merch store. I have a lot of things going, but I should be getting a lot of love when it comes to YouTube for what I've achieved, but I haven't been getting that. That's not, sour grapes. I'm not sounding like a bitch when I say this, but what I am saying is it's kind of funny how the playing field for some people is different than others. But I'm going to keep grinding and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and putting out what I enjoy and putting out what I love. I hope you still rock with me. I hope you still show me some love. Let me keep growing as well as help me keep growing. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. This has been another episode of Comic Book Corner on Corner Store Television with your host, me, Dexter Davis, aka OMD300, aka Doc Savage, the man of bronze. And I'll catch you on the next episode, y'all. Peace. Time to roll.